Today I have another Slayin Snow and Cocoa. I am going to be using this September 2010 page kit from Basic Gray, and I have used this page kit before. I will link you guys to that layout that I did before so you can see another variation of this page kit. I really like this page kit, and I think that the simple design of the long banner across the middle and then that banner going down the center is a classic way to showcase lots of photos. So I did pick up this diagonal stripe paper from Tuesday Morning, and it was one of those paper packs where you get like 20 or 25 pieces of the same piece of pattern paper, and I am never able to find pattern paper like that at Tuesday Morning that works well for me. That's usually like these simple designs that everybody seems to be able to find, but I was so excited when I found this one because I knew that it would work really well with this Snow and Cocoa kit, and I could also use it for any other papers that I was doing. A tone on tone cream color diagonal stripe is a awesome basic pattern for backgrounds. So just like the page calls for, I cut the paper down and I have that black border around 3 sides of the layout, and it meets in the middle with that pattern paper. So it does show that continuous pattern paper across the 2-page layout. I'm going to use the big snowflake paper, even though most of this paper, both the snowflake and that white paper with the clouds, get covers up by my photos and that center banner piece. I do tear the center banner piece just like the layout calls for, and I actually tear it a little bit more once I get it down on the layout because I realize that there's not enough of that bottom showing. I cut this pattern paper out in a really small design because I realized that the center paper and that snow paper were very close in color, so I just wanted a small extra divider between those two. I'm going to go ahead and adhere everything down, and the photos that I'm using are from our trip from Wisconsin, and this escape lodge that we were at had these huge bay windows, and Adam loved standing there, and he would talk about how his back was cold but his front was hot and how that was weird for him. And so it was so funny to watch him stand up there because he would lean against the glass, and of course, you know, it's negative 50 degrees outside, or the wind chill factor is negative 50. And so it was an extreme difference between what was outside and then what was inside with the fires going and things like that. And so these were just really cute pictures. I did decide to mount all of my photos on the black cardstock, and I did use the center pieces that I gutted. I tried to use those up as much as possible just because I don't like to have a lot of scraps around. So if I can use it on the layout, I try. I didn't have enough of the black pattern paper for all of the pieces, but I knew that this 4x4 was going to be in the center there, so I figured it would be okay to put it on a different pattern paper. My title is going to be Baby It's Cold Outside, and I'm going to use this big chipboard here for the word cold. And then I've used these stickers as well before in the black, and it has like a gold center outline or inline. I don't know what you would call that, but it looks like you took some stickles and went around the letters. And I'm going to use some pink and black thickers for the word baby, and then some little circle stickers for the word it is. So I wanted to go ahead and add my photo down, and I did use pop dots on that because I wanted to make sure that I had enough spacing and didn't have to move the photo at a later time. So here are those circle stickers that I'm going to use for the word it and is. And that brown matches really well with the brown that's in the layout. I'm going to add a few more pieces of that brown throughout the layout so that you can really see that brown pop up. So once I make sure everything is straight on those photos, I pulled out a couple of scraps and I'm going to cut out a circle just like the circle calls for in the layout that I'm scrap lifting. And then I am looking for just some additional pieces. I love this little fox guy, and he fits so well snuggled up between the word cold and outside. I didn't plan that, but when I laid him down there, I was super excited about the way he fit. I do add a gold transparency piece over to the far right with the camera. And then this little deer here, it had a saying on it like Merry Christmas or something like that. It was a Christmas tag. Went ahead and cut that off and then added that right above that transparency piece. I did use my Tim Holtz stapler to put down that transparency piece. I decide to use this black and white stripe bow. I am really loving these bows, and I'm glad that I bought 2 packages of them because I have used a lot of them and I am just loving the way that they look. So for this cluster up here at the top right hand side of the layout, I decide to use a frame in the gold and the white. Most of the frame does get covered up, but I love the way that that gold and white peeks through the back of it. So I add this tag here that says Wonderful Winter, and I believe I cut that Wonderful Winter off of a bigger tag and used the top part in a different layout. And I do add pop dots so that it sits nicely inside of that frame. I'm going to take that tag that I cut off at the bottom of the deer and tuck that in so I can bring that teal color up to the top and the words get covered up so you don't even tell that it was a piece from the bottom of the tag. I also add another deer up there at the top. He's a puffy deer, and I use some fun foam to make sure that he sits right through the chipboard piece as well as underneath where there's no chipboard there at all. And then I add this polka dotted star that is the same paper that's the circle at the bottom as well as the paper that the 4x4 photo is matted with. I'm going to pull out the stamp set that goes along with this line and add a couple of snowflakes throughout. So I did have to pull that deer up a little bit to make sure that he was flat. And I'm using these 2 snowflakes, the larger one and then this really tiny one. So then just going through and seeing what other stamps I can add, and I do add a snowflake on top of this brown. I think it's supposed to be like brown with white snowflakes, but it has like little white polka dots on it. And then I also add this Oh So Cold stamp because that's essentially what he was so fascinated by while standing in this window. I again pulled out these gold puffy stickers here that have that vintage or distress look on it because the paint is peeling off, but I like the way that it looks. And then I pull out the gold snowflakes and add them around the layout as well. I did try to make this wood veneer work because I was trying to pull in wood veneer from that word cold, and this is the only thing that worked for me was this film strip. So what I decided to do was add adhesive on the back of it. I'm going to add a little piece of that brown with the white polka dots to the center, and then I'm going to add 2 puffy stickers to the top and bottom, and I really like the way that that turned out. It gave it just a little bit of dimension and difference and filled in those film strip pieces. Having trouble here with my liquid adhesive and getting it to stick to this wood veneer and then the wood veneer sticking to the pattern paper. I actually had to hold it down for quite a bit. So this is where I add the that puffy sticker in the white with a teal snowflake, and then I pull out my thickers that are in gold and silver and I add a small little gold puffy heart to the top there. And I'm okay with different color golds. Like the gold from that puffy sticker and the gold from the snowflakes are different, but it doesn't really bother me to have different tones of gold because it all turns out to be very pretty on my layout. I did add another little pink puffy star in the center there. It's hard to see, but you can definitely see it in the close-ups. And then I'm going to add these enamel dots in the pink and teal color. Off camera, I do add my journaling, which says the Great Escape Lodge has this beautiful set of windows that overlooks the backyard and the lake. Adam loved standing next to the window to feel the cold outside. So here is my final layout as well as some close-ups. If you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more double page layouts, make sure you hit that subscribe button because that's all you're going to get on my channel. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.